My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Hi, everybody. Carolyn Wilkins here. Delighted to welcome you to another edition of Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. As you know, once every 2 weeks, I bring to you another guest who is working at the intersection of creativity and spirituality. And this week, my guest is the amazing Georgie Deyn. Georgie comes to us all the way from the UK. She is a medium, she's a psychic, she channels angels, and she's a musician with a gorgeous voice, and she sings literally music from the angels. So we're going to talk about all that, about music, about channeling, and about how you can enhance your own creative and psychic faculties. So stay tuned for that. Before we go there, I always like to offer a little bit of a collective reading for our group, as this program will be airing in about the second to third week of May. I'm intending that this message from my favorite deck, the Akashic Records Tarot, I'm intending that this message is going to be touching upon things that will be relevant for you at that time. They may be relevant in your personal life, they may be relevant in your professional life, they may speak to world events. I think for each of us, these cards bring a slightly different message. So here we go. Here is the first card. I'm going to shuffle and ask, what do our psychic playroom people need to know about in the second to third week in May 2021? So I'm shuffling, I'm spreading the cards, and now I'm just going to choose one here. And this card is balance. Can you see that? What a beautiful picture of everything in balance. It's a peaceful room with light streaming in, everything well organized, and the scales there with everything in balance. So obviously the message of balance will be important. Whatever you have going on in your life, you want to make sure, even with spring and with this resurgence of spring energy and the tendency to want to jump ahead and do all the things that basically for a year we haven't been able to do, and to get out and to connect with people and to be active and maybe resume that workout that we dropped during the pandemic. This card is urging us to keep everything in balance. Balance will be important. Too much of anything, no matter how much it may be a good thing in your mind, too much of anything is not going to be the ticket right now. So balance. Our second card is here. This card says fated meeting. And you see you have the man and the woman walking towards each other in the town square, and picture of a happy marriage and meant to be. So obviously this card might apply to something in your love life. On the other hand, it may just mean that the time has come to do certain things, and that the stars are aligned and the energies are aligned for a propitious connection, either with a friend, with a business partner, with something that you've been intending to do for some time. things are going to fall into place for you. And if you've been waiting to meet someone, whether this is clients, whether this is, as I said, a business partner, possibly a lover, things are going to come together. And this is something that has been destined for some time. And it's waiting for everything to come in alignment once again, to come into balance to bring that about. So that's very good news. Our last card here is Loving Elementals. And see, in this card, we have a beautiful little girl. She's playing in the grass, and she has around her her friends from the elemental world. There's a couple of fairies, there's magical beings kind of coming up from the earth to talk to her. The water is here with water sprites. So it's just a very beautiful picture. And I will say, spring is a wonderful time to really feel the presence of nature and of the elementals that are available to us. They're always available, but I think in the spring, for one thing, we get out more, we connect with nature more, and there's just a sense of things growing, things alive, and it's a very beautiful time to feel your connection with this elemental energy and to realize that this is energy with which we can connect, an energy that we can harness to use to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, provided they're positive things that are in alignment and in balance with our divine purpose in life. So, our three cards, once again, we have balance, we have fated meeting, and the last card, loving elementals. So, that is our reading, and you will, as I say, maybe some of you will take it to your personal life, some of it you'll see it writ large in world events or things around you, perhaps with family or friends. But these are three factors that you will want to be aware in this mid-May period. So that's my reading for now, and I'm about to once again bring up or talk about our amazing guest. So I'm just going to give her a little quick introduction. Georgie Deyn from the UK. She is a psychic. She's a medium. She has a gorgeous voice. She's a singer. She's a musician. She's a songwriter. And she connects and channels our guides and angels through music. And she also has been teaching people how to make a deeper connection to their own inner spirit. So please enjoy this fabulous interview with Georgie Deyn. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. And I have a wonderful, wonderful guest with me in the playroom today. Please give a warm welcome to Georgie Deyn.
Oh,
Woohoo!
hi. Thank you, Carolyn.
I feel so thrilled she's joining us all the way from the UK. I'm feeling very international right now. And I have given a little bit of pre-information about you in that you are call yourself the musical medium, which is way cool as a musician myself. So could you just tell us a little bit about your story? How did you become the musical medium? What kind of got you on this track?
Okay, so my background is in musical theatre. I went to a stage school. I've always sung. I've always loved to sing and dance and perform. And then around the age of 27, I started realizing that there were loved ones coming to connect with me, and that coincided with when I was expecting my first son. Um, at the age of 29, I started Reiki, and that then opened the doors to the angels. Now, around in my 30s, I was running my dance and drama school, but I was also exploring jazz. And I found such a love for jazz, how you can improvise, be free, and I just loved it. Now, I had a bit of a meltdown. I lost my voice. I
Mm,
won't go into details, but there was some stuff going on. Lost my voice, lost a bit of my soul, and I
mm,
just went within. Couldn't hear
mm,
my guides and angels, and it was a rough time.
mm,
Anyway, I eventually found myself in a spiritual development circle.
mm,
And in this development circle, I went into an altered state of awareness, like a
mm,
semi trance,
mm,
and a beautiful sound came out of my voice.
mm.
And everyone in the group said that I was channeling an angel.
Nice.
Yeah, and she gave the name Love, and she said that she was coming to help me heal my voice, find my voice again, and that I would help other people heal themselves and find their voice.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there because
Okay.
that you have already said a mouthful. And I'm sure that my watchers here and viewers are really already totally fascinated. So, when you say that you went into this semi trance, I want to touch on this for a moment
Mm.
because I think that there's a lot of misconception about this whole idea of the trance. What is it? And many of us grew up on like these zombie movies where it's like, "Ooh," and people are in a trance and they don't know what they're doing, and you can stick pins in them and so forth and so on, and they won't know. And what I have learned from my own study of trance, and this is I'm getting to my question, they're all different levels of the trance state. And I would be very interested if you could sort of describe for my viewers what is it that you feel? What are some of the sensations? How do you know that you're in a trance state? And what does it feel like? Or are you completely out of it and you have no clue? You just do it.
Okay, so for me, I feel the energy growing from my feet up, and there's a coldness that comes. And also, I feel the energy around me. And then once I've gone into a deep breathing, so I know it's coming, I know they want to connect with me, I go into like a deep breathing exercise, like a square, breathing square. And it's as though I'm hearing what's coming out of my voice, but I'm sometimes I might be judging it, and I'm thinking what's being said there. Why? Oh, that sounds really odd. It's like I'm aware of what's coming out, but I have no control over what's coming
Mm,
out.
wow.
But if somebody, flicked me or poked me, I wouldn't get damaged. I wouldn't like suddenly explode in flames or anything like that, because it's just my brain. My brain slowed right down to a theta state.
Yes,
And yeah, that's how I.
that's
And
it.
sometimes afterwards it's like, I can't remember everything that was said, and it's almost like when you've had a dream and you wake up and you remember bits of it, but you don't remember everything.
Nice. I like that you comparing it to the dream state because although on the one hand it may seem really strange and exotic that you do this, we all dream. And as you mentioned, you say theta, we say theta, but the brain waves slow down. So tell me now a little bit I know that you mentioned that you channel an angel and this angel sings through you. And if I'm not mistaken, in fact, I know I'm not, you have recorded some albums of music of this channeled angel music. So could you share a little bit with our audience about your recordings and how do you do them?
Okay, so I knew that I had music inside me, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I had the connection with the angels
Mm,
and masters and loved ones. And I'm a singer. I'm not a musician. And people said to me, just record it, just a cappella. And I'm like, no, I need to find a musician. So I asked the angels to send me a musician that would be perfect to work with, sensitive, into jazz.
mm,
And
mm,
they did. Literally 2 months later, I met up with Marcus C. Dolan, who's the other half of Seraphisa. That's what we
mm.
call ourselves.
Nice.
And we just clicked. We just clicked.
Oh,
And
that's so beautiful because that's another thing that I was going to ask you about is it's difficult to find like-minded people, especially as musicians. There are a lot of musicians out there, but not all of them are interested or capable to be able to do. So once you met this musician, then you had a collaboration, I'm assuming, where you worked out the songs together. Is that right?
so, how it would work, sometimes Marcus would give me a very bare bone of a track,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would listen to it, and then I would start writing lyrics. So, some
Ah,
songs were born that way.
okay.
And one song, in fact, a couple of the songs, I literally listened to the backing tracks or the bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the recording studio that's his, and I didn't know what the melody would be, but I had the words, and the melody just
Aha,
came.
aha. Spirit spoke through you. Even in the recording studio, the spirit came through.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you this. I'm going to later, I'm assuming that people are now wildly curious about what this would sound like. So, where can people find your CDs if they, or we don't buy CDs anymore, but if they wish to download your music, where do they go to find it?
Okay, so they can go to seraphisamusic.com.
Okay, and I'll
So,
put that link down in the on the scroll below so
oh,
people can see seraphisamusic.com. So now you have awakened this genius of music within yourself and this ability to connect with spirit and channel music. But I also know that you also have been helping other people to also awaken their voices and their own spiritual connection. So, could you talk a little bit about some of the, you travel around the world? It sounds really exciting, actually. You've done workshops, different places. Can you tell us a little bit about some of that?
yeah, of course. So I call it angelic harmony therapy at the moment. That's what it's called.
Ooh, we could all use that.
And basically, I've just been so blessed where people have found me and then asked me to go to Ireland or to Denmark or Sweden. And
Wow.
so I've gone over there and then I will teach people how to connect to their sacred voice, if you like. And and it doesn't always come out angelic, I have to say that.
Mm,
Although
mm.
it's called angelic harmony therapy, angelic is covering the whole beings of light spectrum. So
That is
there was,
so true.
yeah,
And you know what? I'm interrupting you, but this is such an important point. I think
oh,
many people have had this idea that new age music or quote angelic music has to only sound like, it should be played on clouds with
Mm.
harps and so forth. And for a long time, there was, at least in my opinion, an incorrect view that music like rock and roll or jazz or something like that was not compatible with the spiritual path and so forth. And I know that you, in fact, sing jazz. And as you just mentioned, when people's true voice awakens, there are voices at all, there are all kinds of voices. They're not necessarily all kind of voice, right? So,
Absolutely.
tell me a little bit your thoughts about that.
Well, I believe spirit meets us where we are.
Mm,
So if we're all like, oh, I love angels, that's what they're going to work with. I
yeah.
had a lady who was very much into the shamanic journey, Native American Indian.
Mm,
And she, what I'm doing here, Georgie, because I cannot sing, I'm tone deaf, And I said, like,
mm.
okay, let's just stop that right there. She brought through, whether it was a guide or part of her soul family, but it was Native American, this big, like, hi, 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 and
Mm,
the
mm.
energy behind it was awesome.
Fabulous, and something totally different, yet still a spiritual energy. Because this, I do believe, just as we have a wide range of people in the world and different cultures in the world, there's a wide range of different kind of music that we can tap into as spiritual musicians. Well, this has been amazing. You're not going to believe this, but our 20 minutes has
Wow.
basically like this. So before I let you go, just if you could, just share with the audience a little bit. Where can they find you? Are you doing, I know we're in the COVID and the lockdown and everything. Where can people find you? I'm sure that do you take private students if someone wanted to meet with you one on one to develop this spiritual connection? Just tell us a little bit about how people can find you.
Okay, well, I have this beautiful website which my son made for me called georgiedeyn.com.
Okay.
And on there there's lots of different blogs and vlogs that people can read. There's a self-healing book called The Seven Secrets to Self-Love, which
That
people can
you wrote?
download.
You
Yeah,
wrote
which I
that?
wrote. and it has
Wow.
and it has 7 links to 7 tracks, so you
Lovely.
can get to listen to the music before you just start paying for downloads. Or And
Lovely.
yes, I am actually going to be doing a circle, like a circle where people will be meeting from all over the world. It's going to be on a Friday UK time in the evening, 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, yeah, we've got a lady from New Zealand joining us. There's a lady in Arizona joining us, and
Oh,
that's
that's
so.
fabulous.
And
That's
I'm happy.
fabulous.
I'm so happy to be working in this way. I'd love to be able to meet people in the flesh again, but until we can, and I can
No,
also,
this is good.
teach
This
people
is
one to one if they're too shy.
So there you have it, everybody. I must say, Georgie, you can just see what a wonderful, incredible spirit she has, what joy she brings to her work. You can hear the melodious voice. I'm telling you, having checked out a little bit of her angel music, she has a song, if I'm not wrong, is it called Peace or something? It's about peace.
Peace
And
starts with you.
yes, awesome. So I encourage you all, visit her site, georgiegdeyn.com. And also there you can, I'm assuming you can find links to her music, find out about her singing work, her healing circle, her teaching, maybe hook yourself up with a private lesson with her. Just there's just a wealth of things. So I'm just feeling we'll have to bring you back again for another time because we did not touch on about 12 different topics that I wanted to hit today, but that's just because you have so much to give. So thank you so much for joining us today, Georgie.
Thank you for having me, Carolyn. It's been lovely.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. You can see that Georgie and I had a wonderful conversation. I hope that you feel inspired, and please go and visit her website. I'm going to put the address below so that you can look at it. Visit her website, check out her music, which is fabulous. She has lots of CDs and downloads and things available. And she also has a radio program that is available. It's on internet radio. I will find the link and put that below as well. So, Georgie Deyn, my special guest today. As always, if you would like a reading from me, either live on the Psychic Playroom or privately, please write to me at my website, www.carolynwilkins.com. Write to me, and I would be happy to give you a reading, as I say, either privately or if you like, I'll do your reading and share it on the Carolyn Psychic Playroom at no cost to you, of course. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you enjoy tarot and you enjoy the readings that I've been sharing with people, I think you'll find that if you have a question, the cards and I can work together to help you resolve it. So that's it for this week's episode. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another wonderful guest. And meanwhile, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. This is Carolyn Marie Wilkins signing off for now. Bye.
Thoughts are things with the energy to make life better for you and for me. Touch the light.